What is up, my sweet little fantasy football angels out there? I am Andrew Cooper. Alongside me today, Jon Impemba. Howard Bender is on the precipice of being back. He should be back on this show. He'll be on the YouTube shows next week. I think he's going to be on the show tonight, though, on the Sirius
Yeah,
XM show, John. So
I
he'll
believe
be
so.
back. He'll be back tonight if you're missing Howard Bender. So this is going to be the last one. But I got my boy Johnny here, and guess what? It is Wednesday. That means you can do whatever the heck you want. We're not going to force you to only ask start sits like we do on Tuesday, keeping everybody in
Sure.
line. We're not going to, we're not going to toss you out like Howard does on the show on Sunday morning on Sirius XM. If you ask more than one question, ask as many questions as you want. Ask questions about start sits, ad drops, trades, waivers, whatever you want to do.
Can ask us how we're doing. We won't just drop it off. We're good.
Yeah, we're good to go, dude. So let me ask you a question first, though, Johnny boy. Did you add anybody off waivers yourself?
I grabbed Herbert where I had Moss. I actually had a lot of Moss this year where he was going in drafts. I was pretty bullish on the offense. He had some good weeks. He had some not so good weeks. Obviously, the Chase Brown truth. There's big fantasy was able to pull that one off. Those who were able to grab Chase Brown. So needing to make a move at the running back position, he was obviously the obvious choice there. It was basically like him or Cam Akers, maybe were like the two running backs that had potential any pathway to snaps moving forward based off we saw from Cam Akers last week. So I grabbed Herbert. Some leagues I put bids in and nobody else bid on him. So I kind of felt like an idiot. I'm like, I just spent quarter of my fab, half my fab on this guy and nobody else bid on Khalil Herbert, which I think was surprising because Taylor came out today and said like Herbert's going to play on Thursday. So he's already going to be in their rotation. We'll see how much, but what if this all of a sudden flips and they like Chase Brown going back to the role that he was in before and Moss and Herbert's the early down guy? So I'll take some chances here based off that information.
Exactly. And this isn't a three-way split situation. Chase Brown got 80% of the snaps with no Zach Moss. They don't like the other guys there. That's why they made the move. And this is a good team as well. So we've seen a lot of good teams where if a guy gets 30 or 40% of the snaps, then they can be productive on a standalone basis. I mean, look at Tyler Algier, who's been a spot start most weeks. Ray Davis on like a 10% snap share at times is making plays because the Bills rule.
And I actually did add Ray Davis today as well in a league because at this point, I'm just playing the injury game. Right. Running back is a dangerous position. Something goes down to James Cook. You were heading into the fantasy playoffs. If you had guys that are just completely out of it, they're not your handcuffs. Now you start picking up running backs in high upside situations. If Ray Davis all of a sudden becomes the lead running back of the Buffalo Bills down the stretch because something happens to Cook, you might have yourself a top 10 fantasy running back right there. So it's a strategy I took with the Davis ad today.
And I've been telling people, I wrote an entire article on the double handcuff plus. Mm-hmm. Handcuffing situations aren't just for running backs in modern fantasy football anymore. We have super flex now, and there are some quarterbacks out there like Russell Wilson, coming in, and now Justin Fields. Like if something happens, the other guy could be a league winner. We have some situations with tight ends. Well, like we saw last year, Trey McBride, Isaiah Likely came out and crushed. Yeah. We even have situations with a double handcuff plus. This year, we've seen a couple of them, John, where teams that have two really good wide receivers, if one of those guys goes down, it unlocks so many targets that look at what Dallas Goedert did when the wide receivers were hurt. Look what Cade Otton's doing right now. Cade Otton is on a league-winning trajectory here. There's guys out there, you got to think about it, right? Like if a guy like Jonnu Smith, he's startable. What happens if one of those wide receivers gets hurt? Dallas Goedert, it's like these are the things we got to think about. So it's not just running backs where the handcuffs can help you out. For me, I did add a few people myself. I added Xavier Legette in a league where I'm doing pretty well, and I just need upside. And I'm looking around, I'm like, who could possibly have some flavor of upside? Yeah. I added the guy I added. I didn't spend a ton on him, but the guy I oddly added the most, John, in the most leagues was Jake Moody.
Okay.
Jake Moody. I'm sitting here. I'm like, you know what? This guy could be a top 5 kicker rest of way. Everyone dropped him because he was hurt and he was on bye. I actually was able to get him for like nothing in a lot of leagues. I added Roshan Johnson in a league where I have really thin at running. So I have Alvin Kamara and Kenneth Walker, but I have nobody to start this week. So I'm with Kenneth Walker on bye. I'm starting Roshan Johnson. Doesn't feel good. And I also snuck Keaton Mitchell into an IR spot. He's probably going to get activated off the list like today.
Yeah.
Whatever. You can't make me move him until after the game's over. So That's where I'm at. Shout out to the chat. What's up, gang? We see you guys popping in. Josh K in the house. Fatty McFats. Josh K made some moves here. Happy Hump Day, fam. Thanks, Howard, Coop, and John for doing these. Let's hit this question first.
Sure.
2.5 PPR. Please pick 2 tight ends going forward from Laporta, Ingram, Ferguson, and Hawkinson. Man, that's
I know you're going to go Evan Ingram for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Of that group, and then we're looking at. I mean,
I know.
I kind of lean Hawkinson, I think, but Cooper Rush. If it was Dak, I'd say Ferguson. I don't know how Cooper Rush is going to attack the tight end position. I know Laporta. We've seen the ceiling out of him, but we haven't seen it this year. I think I'm a little bit more interested in Hawkinson because he came out last week and actually got targeted. He's in that offense. We saw him thrive in this offense when he got here last year. So I think Hawkinson's the way to go for me.
Exactly. And they have to throw over there with the Vikings, whereas the Lions, where they're playing some of these games, they don't have to throw. They've kind of been doing us a favor, right? Like they circle back and throw a touchdown pass to Amon-Ra St. Brown when they don't have to, right? They let David Montgomery throw one. It's like they're kind of playing games over here and bailing us out at times. The flea flicker to Sam Laporta, he has one catch, but it's a 60-yard flea flicker. It's like they're kind of bailing us out, but they don't have to throw a ton. The other thing is it's 0.25 PPR. Jake Ferguson does not offer much in the yak department. That's really not a good format for him.
Sure.
So I'm with you on Hawk, man. Fatty, what's happening, man? Jerry, what's popping? I have McBride and Otten. Which one should I trade and what can I get? I'm a big proponent of put them both on the block, right, Jerry? Because whoever comes to you, they've got their own opinions. You've got your opinion, right? And in this case, if you're asking us, you have them pretty close, right? I think I go McBride ahead, but it's close enough that you put them both on the block. And when that person comes to you and says, okay, I'll give you this player for odd. Yeah. Then you go to their next best wide receiver and say, how about McBride for a better player? Then you'll learn what that guy thinks. Maybe he'll turn around and be like, I actually like Otten better than McBride, and you just take that other deal. Or maybe you can get an upgrade. That I like to keep my options open and kind of investigate what the other people think. For you, John, if you had to pick one of those two guys for the rest of the season, who would you go with?
I mean, it's hard to argue what Otten's doing right now. So
I know.
McBride has probably the better trade value, I think, in terms of name.
That's what I'm saying.
So I mean, but obviously you'd probably be selling rather high, given you might be able to get more for Otten right now because of what he's done. But I like Otten, I think, long term as well. So
yeah, I think I guess the one difference maker is that Mike Evans is expected to be back.
Yeah,
and that's like
well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and McBride is at least probably their number one. We like to think MHA is, but he's been phased out of so many games this year. McBride's sort of that true guy. And then when you ask what can I get? Well, that depends on who you're trading with. What is the needs of that individual? What's that team look like? It's very difficult for us to kind of tell you the player range of what player you would be able to get in a return because you don't know what the depth of that other team is that needs a tight end, right? So it's very kind of hard to put that range in there.
So my advice is put them both on the block, Jerry. And my other part of the advice, get that trade done within the next 4 days because McBride goes up against the Jets and Cade Otton gets what I consider to be the most difficult matchup for tight ends with the 49ers.
Yeah.
And it's specifically because they already had Fred Warner, John, and then they went out and also got Devondre Campbell.
Yeah.
They were like, we're not getting beat by tight ends this year. You know what I mean? Like Devondre Campbell, but with the Packers and with the Cardinals and with the Falcons was one of the better tight end cover guys. Now they got 2 of them over there. So I really do not like starting players.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how well 3 of the last 4 weeks, Travis Kelce has dominated. The 1 week he didn't, it was the 49ers.
17 yards against the 49ers. Yeah, they're killers, man. I think they really said, you know what, everyone's going to load up with the Brock Bowers and the Laportas and the Kelce's, and that's how they're going to beat people. Well, we're going to make sure that don't happen here. So
Agreed.
I really don't like.
I mean, definitely for sure. Agreed.
Yeah. Is it safe to drop Anthony Richardson, John?
Yeah, it was safe to drop him a few weeks ago.
Ooh, it hurts that is so true. So
he's not starting, and they've come out and said we have no intention to go back to him as a starter. So, an injury would probably have to happen to Joe Flacco for that to change. I think at this point, or they continue to lose games, then maybe week 16, 17, they go back to Richardson. But at that point, you're not playing Anthony Richardson. So, no, you can safely move on from him. I'm assuming this isn't a dynasty question, obviously.
Of course not. Yeah. If it's dynasty, keep him. If it's like a crazy deep super flex league, like I'm talking like Scott Fishbowl deep, then keep him. Otherwise, you could drop him. Jerry, what's popping, man? Audie Coop in the house. What's going on? Audie Coop, a little story for Audie Coop for everybody out there. Lainey, our daughter Lainey, John, we've been letting her give treats to our dog Lufa.
Oh, yeah.
This morning, let her up. Very first thing she does, goes directly to the treats jar, pulls out the biggest treat in there and gives it directly to the dog. So she's growing up quick and she's already figured out.
She knows, yeah, to have the dog be the best friend. Makes sense.
She's already there, dude. They're already best friends. So a little Calvin Hobbes situation going on. What's up, everybody? Albert, Brian, Angie, TD, Greg. Howard's not here, Greg. So Howard's been beefing with Greg, had him on verbal mute. You're free today, brother. You're free today. So we're hanging. I heard many say on his show on Sirius to sell high on Zay Flowers. I'm just wondering what you guys thinking if I should. Jeff Mans.
Yeah, Jeff Mans, yeah. I mean, listen, there's the addition of Deontay Johnson certainly has a lot of people concerned that he is going to garner a higher snap share. And then when you start getting the higher snap share, it's going to obviously cut in to Zay Flowers. I mean, possibly. But like, where does Zay Flowers rank for you right now in your starting rotation? Is he your wide receiver 3? Like what is it that you're looking to do? Because if he's a starting wide receiver for you, I don't know what you're flipping him for, I guess is what I'm saying. You'd probably have to sell and take a lesser wide receiver and then hope that Flowers does decline. Where I don't know why he would decline. The guy has been playing as good as, you could have hoped. They took him in the first round. Right. He's been the number one guy for them. To me, he should still be established as the number one wide receiver. And Deontay Johnson, if he plays enough snaps, would be sort of that secondary guy. Sure, he might take some target share, but nothing that I think we're looking to just sell high on Flowers. So it would really depend on what you're getting back, what you have on your team, and what you need in return for Flowers at this point.
Exactly. And I will say this, I guess the only concern for Flowers is because Flowers, we watch all these games. He has never played bad in the game. I don't think he's played bad in a single game. There have been games, though, where they just run so much that he doesn't need to do it.
Well, yeah.
Like the Bills game, for example, Derrick Henry ran for 200 yards. He had 2 targets, but I think his 2 targets might have led the team. Like they weren't throwing. So when you look at the schedule, he does have a bye week 14. And I guess the concern would be week 15 against the Giants because week 16 in the playoffs, they get Pittsburgh. You can't just run all over them. And then they get Houston week 17, which should be a fine matchup for him. So I guess maybe if you're making the argument that he could be useless for you weeks 14 and 15, I do get that. But you have to make sure you're getting back a better piece or at least a piece you're using, Eric.
Deontay Johnson played 30% of the offensive snaps. We knew he was going to have a limited snap share, but he had 0 targets.
No. I'm not worried about Deontay.
I'm for 127 and 2 scores. Well, he's saying sell high. My assumption is I didn't listen to the Elite show, so I didn't hear the context of what he's saying. But my only assumption is you're selling high on Flowers off of the 127 and 2 scores game. Deontay Johnson's in town. It's going to cut into probably some of his target share and decrease some of the value. Yes, obviously this is the sell high point because he's coming off of such a monster game. But I need to know what is on your roster and what you think you're getting for him, right?
Exactly.
It's not like I'm going to sell Zay Flowers because remember, Coop, I'm sure Eric here is a smart fantasy gamer, not saying anything like that. But sometimes people's minds sell high is like I'll trade Zay Flowers and go get Marvin Harrison Jr. That's not sell high. But just because you perceive Marvin Harrison to be a higher talent, he's not playing that way. You're basically paying a premium for him. So like, where is your sell high for Flowers? What are you getting back? Right,
exactly. Don't never sell a player just to sell him. Never drop a player just to drop him.
Right.
Make sure you're getting a good deal. Jerry needs 2 PPR. He's got Brown, so Chase Brown, we're assuming, but because it's running backs, but there's the AJ Brown
short week versus the Ravens.
Brown, Gibbs, Tracy Pollard, Brian Robinson Jr. So
you absolutely have to play Tracy this week against the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
There's Devin Singletary is not a problem in this backfield anymore. They have basically Tracy took the job, right? Like Singletary got out, he got hurt. Since he's come back, the 3 games that Singletary's been back, 21, 39, 28% of the offensive snaps. It has been Tracy the entire way, leading the snap share, leading the carries. He can catch the football on the backfield, and this is your prime A-stake matchup for running backs this year has been a Carolina Panthers. So Tracy 100% in on that matchup, and then you can't not play Gibbs. So
right, you got to, yeah. So you can sit, and again, it's Chase. The thing with Chase Brown is, like, we're so excited we want to get him in there. This is the team that's allowing the fewest rushing yards of any team with the Ravens, so it's okay. You can justify it. And Tracy, just to a point on Tracy, Alvin Kamara is the RB2 in all of fantasy football, largely because he's played the Panthers twice. This past week, he had 215 yards from scrimmage against the Panthers.
Something crazy. I said he was going to have like 3 touchdowns on the XM show. Yeah. He essentially did in terms of fantasy points. Exactly. He just got it all in yards and PPR points. So
yeah, so it's not you got to lock it in. And honestly, I like being only a few games in. It's so hard to sit here and be like Tyrone Tracy's the next Alvin Kamara. But it was actually very hard when Kamara was a rookie in 2017 for us to say Alvin Kamara is the next Alvin Kamara, because he was behind like Mark Ingram and conditions weren't perfect for him either. With Tyrone Tracy, there's a very real possibility that we might have like the next guy because he looks great. And
yeah, I mean, I would like them to throw him the football a bit more before we kind of like talk about that level.
He caught 6 of 6. He caught 6 of 6.
He did have one game. He got 6 of 6 versus the Bengals. Had 1 target last week. If we could get some more usage in the passing game, I would like it. But just the pure touch volume, right? He had 18 for 129 his first start, 17 for 50, 6 for 23 in that game against Philly where they were never in it. Pittsburgh, 20 for 145. You mentioned Pittsburgh is a tough run defense. What? 20 for 145 against them. And then last week, 16 for 66. I mean, the touch volume, 16, 20, 17, 18 for the last 5 is just encouraging. Like I said, I took the over 13.5 carries for him last week. I got to see. They didn't have the lineup yesterday when I looked. I got to see if they got that lineup or not yet.
Yeah, get him in there, man. He rocks, dude. And once they get Drew Brees Lock in there instead of Daniel Jones, it's just going to be even more Tracy, baby.
Yeah, we did just get an update from in Tennessee. They basically said that they're going to be managing Tony Pollard's weekly workload during practice. So if you have Tony Pollard, don't be concerned about like DNPs during the week at practice and all these things. They've just come out and said, hey, he's probably not going to practice a lot because they're managing the foot, but he'll be good to go on Sundays. So,
yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know, man, because again, it's so easy to panic on Wednesdays. Thursday and Fridays when we really care, except for this Bengals and Ravens game tomorrow. So let's talk about that real quick, and then we'll pop back into the chat and we'll hit some questions. This game today is the important day for practice, okay? And there are some names out there that need to practice. The biggest one for me for this game, because T. Higgins, I don't think is going to go, man. If T. Higgins is a limited participant today, then maybe, but I think he's not going to go. But Isaiah Likely, John, also DNP with a hamstring in the estimated report on Monday and also yesterday. That's the big one I'm looking for here because it could change the course of who does what. You could see more Deontay Johnson. You could see more Mark Andrews, obviously. So that's a big one I'm keeping an eye on. We're also keeping an eye on B.J. Hill. He's been in games without B.J. Hill. I mean, they were missing DJ Reader as well, but games without B.J. Hill, this team was a lot easier to run on. The Bengals were, and
they were going to get 20 carries against Derrick Henry anyways, and that's just a worse situation for them to now have to deal with 20 carries from Derrick Henry. So
yeah. So John, this one here, 6-point spread for the Ravens feels a little suspicious, but then the Ravens are home and they've been playing so well. Do you got a read on this one? Do you got a play on this one?
I think it's again sort of short week road game for Cincinnati. They probably would have come into this game on a Sunday as a couple-point dog anyways, and now you add in just sort of all of those things. It's going to lean more to Baltimore. The one thing is Baltimore's defense has been terrible. So, right. I think if I had to pick, I'd rather just pick the over than try to guess the spread on this one because this could very easily come down to the final possession touchdown needing, and there's your 6 points or something like that. So, the fact that it's 6.5, I almost lean the Bengals in this instance because I don't know if Baltimore is going to be able to stop Cincinnati's offense with the way their defense has played this year, and that has me a bit worried. So I think I'd rather just take the over if I had to pick one. But
they're jamming us at 52.5 on the over too.
Well, I mean, it's deserving. Again, we just seen what Bo Nix did against this Baltimore Ravens. Like they had nobody, they can't stop anybody. We've seen Gardner Minshew score a bunch of points and beat them in Baltimore. Like we've seen a lot of points be scored.
Joe Burrow threw 5 touchdowns last time.
Joe Burrow threw exactly. So like, yes, no, for sure, I'd rather take the over. And trust that. If I had to make a guess, I would take the +6.5 for Cincinnati, and go in that direction. Take the points.
I think I would too, because these division games are so wonky. It's like, it can go either way.
Remember, last week we had the Jets and Texans, and everybody thought that it was so weird the Jets were favorite, and you got to take into account short week and they're on the road and all this stuff. Right. And hey, the Jets went out and won, right? So
the Browns beat this Ravens team, so you never do know. While we're talking the game, let's pop in, do a couple quick underdoggies here for our friends over there. If you guys want to get involved, let's make them big. Let's make them the star of the show right now. Underdog, if you want to get involved, go over there, use promo code ALARM. They'll match 50% of your deposit up to $1,000, and they give you a kind of like a freebie bonus pick, which is nice. Tell you, I wish, John, what was when you and I signed up, what was the promo? It was like
you got a free entry into like the Millie Maker.
It was like
whatever it was, $25. Yeah.
I've done so many of these. I mean, because we do them all summer long with the family every Wednesday on the show.
Yeah.
So if you're a family alarm member, we do them, and it's the same funds. The ones that we use for the pick'ems, it's the same funds that you use for the best balls. So I would love to have matched up to $1,000.
Dude, I play so many battle royals during the week, which are snake drafts for DFS. Yeah. So if you love DFS and you're not really keen on the salary aspect of putting lineups together, you think maybe snake drafts are a bit fairer because it's all about the luck of the drawer and how you build your lineups. You can do like a 6-man snake draft for their main event contest, and like first place in those are usually like $20,000 or $30,000 if you can get up there. And they're a lot of fun, and they're done quickly. They're just it's 6 rounds and it's a 6-man, so it's done in like 15 minutes. You can do a bunch of these at a time. They have them for all sports. They're super fun. So it's not just season-long best ball. They obviously also have pick'em contests, which we're going to do as well with today. We're going to give our picks for Thursday Night Football. But check out their Battle Royal drafts as well. Those are pretty fun, and it kind of gives you a new spin on DFS.
I love Underdog, dude. It rocks. I can't wait. I'm like, this is how much of a sicko I am, John. Like I can't wait for once the season is over to start doing those best balls in like February.
Yeah, I get them
some of my early teams, are kicking. I have actually got a couple of decent teams.
Well, sorry, go ahead. Which one of the ones?
I was gonna say I've got one that is like I lost Godwin, but everything else is coming together at the right time. I have Pittman and Josh Downs, and we got Flacco. My quarterbacks are Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Russell Wilson. Like my tight ends, Brock Bowers. Like everything's coming together. So I don't want to jinx it, but
I hear you. I have my best ball mania team has like a 300-point lead on the field. It has Hurts at the quarterback. My running backs are Barkley, Henry, and Kamara. Went super RB heavy. So basically every week I'm rolling out Barkley, Henry, and Kamara in my 2 running backs in flex spot. Wide receivers, again, not as glamorous, but like Jacoby Myers is there, Jameson Williams, Josh Palmer, those guys have started to step up. And then at tight end, I have Kyle Pitts, Bowers, and then Gesicki. So Gesicki the last 2 weeks has been an absolute monster. And that one's got like a 300-point lead over the league, that I'm in for best ball mania. So hopefully that team can go through just carrying on the backs of Kamara, Barkley, and Henry through the rounds there.
Yeah, my running backs in that one. I also went super thin at running back on that one. And let me pull this one through real quick. Because my running backs are also crushing in that one. I only have 5 running backs, and they are, drum roll please.
Yeah.
My 5 running backs on that team are Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Jordan Mason, and my last one, hopefully coming back to save me down the stretch, is Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, I was gonna say you said thin at running back. You rattled off like 5 top 10 running backs.
Thin, well, I only drafted 5, but like I drafted 5 stars, so it's like that one. Yeah, it could be you versus me, Johnny, for that.
I even got a slow roll do there because the 4th running back on the team is also Breece Hall. So I have Breece Hall, Barkley, Henry, and Kamara.
You sandbag instead of
I'm a savage. Yeah, with
you
Jalen Hurts.
You sandbag.
I basically just wanted to draft a bunch of late wide receivers and hope they hit. Jacoby Myers looking awesome right now. As a guy down the stretch, I could be giving a ton of targets. So
enough bragging about our sweet best ball teams. Give me a pick for Thursday night football for tomorrow on this.
Yeah, Jamar Chase over 81.5 receiving yards. Again, we've talked, again, how poorly the pass defense is for this Ravens team here. Jamar Chase is the number one wide receiver on this team. I know the numbers of late have been like average. We have certainly hoped for better performances, but against Baltimore, last time they played, 10 for 193 and 2 scores. So he, almost tripled up the number we have for him tonight. So give me the over 82.5 receiving here for Jamar Chase.
And on average, Baltimore allowing 281 yards per game. To put that in perspective, the next highest is Jacksonville at 264. And then there's no other team over 260. And think of how bad the Jags have been in terms of letting up pass yards. The Ravens have been worse by 16 yards a game. So, yeah, Jamar Chase is a smash. I'm throwing in a little Mark Andrews right now. I already put mine in. I put in Mark Andrews, 8.75 fantasy points. So on there, they have a bunch of different options. You can do receptions, yards, touchdowns. And sometimes they'll have a fantasy point line. And I look at 8.75 fantasy points. That's essentially one touchdown. And Isaiah Likely now missing multiple important practices with a hamstring. If he doesn't go, I think that's a lock. So I'm going higher on 8.75 fantasy points for Mark Andrews. So those are the picks. Mark Andrews, Jamar Chase. Go over to Underdog. Use promo code ALARM. Get all set up over there. They usually give you like a little bonus pick too.
Yeah, you get a 99% off free pick.
Oh yeah, you get when you sign up, you get one, and then they also on Thursday, do something like Joe Burrow 0.5.
So exactly.
Keep an eye out for that coming around. All right, let's jump back in the chat real quick. Greg was next up. And he said Superflex picking up Trey Lance. Just in case.
Sure.
Yeah. I think just based on mobility alone, right?
I heard you and Jim Bowden talk about this yesterday on the Fantasy Alarm show on Sirius XM, and you asked thoughts on Lance, and he talked about Cooper Rush being 5-1 as a starter, and but it's a lot of dink and dunk passing. If you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're having the season you're having, and hopefully at this point Jerry understands that his season is going nowhere, why do you not just see what you have in Trey Lance? Maybe, maybe they know. Maybe they see it in practice and like, man, this kid sucks. And that's just it. And they don't even want to, expose him to this point. But then why has he been on your roster this whole time? What's the point of keeping him around as your QB3 if you never have an intention of letting him play? Cooper Rush, what Cooper Rush is. You're not going to make the playoffs. Either give Trey Lance an opportunity to go out there and develop on the go and see if you can lock into some of that raw talent. The league is moving towards the big arm mobile quarterback. Lance has those two attributes.
Right.
See if something can happen here, right? Now, it's not going to be great this week. CeeDee Lamb not practicing today. CeeDee Lamb probably doesn't play this week, so it's against Philadelphia. It's probably not a great spot. Like, why not give Trey Lance the opportunity? It's not going to happen this week. It'll be Cooper Rush. But if you're in a Superflex league and you have the roster spot, sure, you might see Lance in a week or two, if things don't go well for Cooper Rush this week.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, it's such a good point on the practice part, man, because the whole internet sat around. They were like, "What? Why are the Steelers benching Justin Fields for Russell Wilson?" And the answer is, I don't know, probably the hundreds and hundreds of reps they saw both players do in practice. It's like they're doing it because they know these guys better than anyone else. Yeah. That's why they're doing it. And I'll tell you this, I think with Cooper Rush, you pointed out they're playing the Eagles. The Commanders are 7-2. The Eagles are 6-2. If the Eagles beat the Cowboys this week, the Eagles will be in second place most likely in the division with 7 wins, and the Cowboys will be 3-6. I hate to say it, but it's out.
No, their season's over. So that's what I'm saying.
You tell Cooper Rush, hey, you know what? You start, and for as long as you can keep winning, you will be the starter. And if you lose this week, you're done. If you lose next week against the Texans, you're done. Their schedule goes right? Eagles, Texans, Commanders. That's their schedule.
If he can look competitive, they'll probably keep him out there. But if he goes out there and completes 48% of his passes for 120 yards and 2 picks this week, everybody's gonna be like, all right, well, Lance can do that. Right? Like, of course, why not just see what he's doing? But no, to your point on the practice reps, I've had those conversations with people too. They're like, oh, why wouldn't they just go Lance? Like, well, because they've seen Lance now for 2 years.
Right.
And they know what he can to do. That said, the Dolphins left Skylar Thompson on their team for years, and that guy can't play the position either. Yeah. So who knows, right?
Exactly. So just get him out there. Rogo here says drop one of Stroud, Stafford, or Baker. Man, Stroud has been killing me.
Yeah.
Actually, I really don't have much Stroud, but just the idea of him not being good isn't it?
So right before we went live today, there was an update on Nico Collins that came out, and it was a good update on Nico Collins.
Because I know the coach yesterday said he needs further evaluation.
So Nico Collins passed all tests for his hamstring injury today, still to be determined whether or not he suits up for week 10.
What the heck? Further evaluation. He passed all the tests.
Passed all the tests, still to be determined if he suits up or not. So
I've evaluated him from here, gave him an ocular pat down on Twitter via video I saw.
It makes it difficult to drop Stroud knowing Nico Collins is coming back because you have Collins and Dell. I mean, why do you have 3 quarterbacks in the first place?
I feel like Stafford is just like always available on the wire.
Yeah, so I mean, Baker for the most part. I mean, Baker's getting Mike Evans back. Stafford has Kupp and Nakua. Like I would say, like, oh, you can drop Baker, but the guy continues to go out there and ball. So, like, I don't know. I think they're all sort of similar. Can you trade one, Ro? Like, is there a team that needs a quarterback?
Yeah.
If I was to drop one, probably Stafford, I guess.
Right. I mean, Stafford plays Monday. Stafford plays Monday against the Dolphins. Baker plays against the 49ers here. Yeah, I would just drop Stafford, man. Drop Stafford.
Yeah.
Yes, best wishes to Bender. He should be back this evening, so make sure you're tuned to channel 87, 6 to 8 p.m. He should be back, and he'll let you guys know what's been going on. Drop Tua or Stafford for Herbert, John. Man, these are tough.
I mean, Herbert, like we said yesterday on the show, Herbert's got a great streaming schedule coming up. I don't want to drop Tua, though. It's so I'm just like stuck in my take here, but like he led the league in passing last year, yardage. He was on pace to lead the league in passing yardage the year before that. He's got Tyreek Hill. He's got Jalen Waddle, Devin Achane. Like there's a really good offense there in Miami, just kind of waiting to break out.
They have such a tough schedule down the stretch.
Yeah.
It goes Jets, Houston, 49ers, Browns, Jets.
Yeah. It's probably 2 of them.
Yeah.
You're getting, I mean, yeah.
No. Just don't pick up Herbert.
Well, I mean, this week, the schedule for Stafford coming up, what do we got for the Rams?
I mean, you got to start Miami again. You got to start Tua this week again. Tua's got the Rams, the Raiders, the Patriots, the next. So
yeah, the Rams have the Patriots next week as well, which is a pretty decent
I think you're going to start Tua this week. So just drop Stafford if you want for Herbert.
The Rams are home versus Philly. And then you're probably just going to keep Miami.
Just keep the guys you have. Trade DJ Moore and Monty for Saquon. DJ Moore has, I guess, been vocal about not liking Shane Waldron, which is hilarious.
Oh yeah, have you seen the NFL? What's the advanced analytics thing they call it for the NFL there? With the route trees.
Oh, the next gen stats.
Next gen stats, and like his route tree is like the ugliest thing you'll ever see in your life.
Dude, he actually left the field and just walked over and sat on the bench in the middle of a play.
Well, he got hurt on that play.
Yeah, but still,
people are calling him out for that. We got hurt. I mean, listen, obviously getting Saquon Barkley is a huge get, but what are you losing? Like, what's the rest of your team look like there?
Yeah. Let us know who goes into like what wide receiver enters your lineup when you do
right.
That's always
because I feel pretty good about Saquon in that spot for sure. Yeah. Especially this week against Jacksonville.
We just hit on the status on Nico.
Yep.
John
passed all tests and DP to be determined if he plays this week, but looking pretty good for next week at the most.
Yeah. Do I trade Jamar and Laporta for Breece Bowers and DJ Moore? Everybody trying to get off the DJ Moore wagon.
Everybody trying to get off Laporta probably. Again, C-Dog, like what do you need to fill? You're 7-2 and you're trading Jamar Chase and Sam Laporta. You're downgrading at wide receiver. You're obviously upgrading at tight end.
And you're getting running back. I think I do that. I think I do it, man.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to know what the rest of his team kind of looks like there, but probably fine with that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. The other person trading for Laporta, I wonder who their other tight end is. Who that they're
They
going to
just really
start.
want Jamar Chase.
Yeah, here we go. We got a team here with a bunch of players. Need a wide receiver going to the playoffs. Trade
That already doesn't make any sense to me.
Amon-Ra and Hunt or Pacheco for Evans, Reed, and Chase Brown. So it looks like he's got Hunt and Pacheco. So he's going to trade the combination for Evans, Reed, and Chase Brown.
Yeah.
I kind of actually like it.
I don't trade for injured players, Coop.
Who's injured? Evans?
Mike Evans. But a pretty serious
But
hamstring
he's
injury.
trading away Pacheco, but he has Hunt. But you get Chase Brown, you get Reed.
So at best, you get Reed for Amon-Ra St. Brown. Would you rather Amon-Ra?
Right now he's starting to Quentin Johnston and Pop Douglas.
Okay, but he can't play Evans right now. He'd just be getting Reed to play for Amon-Ra.
Okay, what about the second one? Amon-Ra for London and Jacoby Myers.
Is London's hip okay?
Don't find some healthy. If you want John to say yes to one of your trades, you got to find some healthy players.
Find some healthy players that you can play this week. Otherwise, you're trading Amon-Ra St. Brown for Jacoby Myers this week. Yeah. Like that's what you're trading.
He's trading Amon-Ra. So basically, your lineup this week, Firestone. Unless you're like 9-0, right? Maybe you can do something like that. But yeah, your lineup is going from Amon-Ra St. Brown and Hunt to Reed and Chase, or yeah, exactly. You're really hurting
You're hurting yourself. Trade for a healthy player.
Yeah. Algier or Ray Davis this week, full PPR.
Well, Algier's at least guaranteed touches. So
and it's a good matchup.
Yeah.
They have the Saints, who have been allowing the most yards of any team, just flat out on defense. Who do you prefer rest of the season? DJ Moore, Pittman, Tyrone, Tracy.
100%.
Tracy rules, dude. Running backs are hard to come by. And I'm telling you guys, man, there will be injuries. It's like we're halfway through the season. Think of all the wide receivers that have been hurt. Just know, like, I'm not trying to jinx anybody or anything, but there are going to be some major injuries.
Pittman's okay. Can we also talk about Pittman for a second? This man was going to go on IR.
Right. With a back
and he looks like he should have been on IR.
Yes.
Like, so.
Yeah. And DJ Moore is pissed. And I was surprised that there were some talks about him being traded. So I don't know. Jamar Chase and Cedric Tillman or Justin Jefferson? If Tillman goes directly into your lineup and you desperately need Tillman, then do it. Otherwise, because it's pretty lateral between Chase and Jefferson.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. Like, you just talked about injuries and depth. Like, where does Tillman work for you? And like, who are you trading with? Right? Are you going to immediately sometimes you have to make defensive non-trades too. Like, are you giving this guy Chase and Tillman's going into that dude's lineup right away? And now all of a sudden he's getting a guy that the last 3 weeks has been out of his mind. Like, I'm not trading that. Yeah.
I think the guy, the only reason I would trade Chase away is if I have like 6 losses, John, or like 5 losses, and Chase has not had his bye week and Jefferson has.
I'm right. The bye week situation.
That's the only reason.
I would trade Chase if I'm getting the 2-for-1 and not the other way around. You should almost never have to include a player with Jamar Chase unless you're getting like Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley,
right?
Alvin Kamara, something like that.
So I would not want to be on the Jefferson side unless the only reason you would be on the Jefferson side is if you are like you back against the ropes and you absolutely cannot survive a bye week.
Yeah, the Vikings had their bye, right, already?
Vikings already had it, and Chase has his coming up week 12.
Chase has his coming up. So that would be your only reason to do it, yeah.
The only reason. All right. Frizzle, what's up, dude? RBs are Mixon, Bijan, Bigsby. Best wide receiver is Olave, which is not good. But you have Smith and Flowers. Those are your best wide receivers.
AJ Brown might not play this week, so Devonta Smith against the Jags, like, fire up.
Yeah, so it's Auden, Smith, and Flowers for Debo and JT. And then you trade away JT for Neighbors and Worthy. I don't really love Worthy. Worthy is not a guy that I have Worthy in some lineups, and I can never really click the button to put him in the lineup.
What exactly is Debo Samuel doing that Devonta Smith and Zay Flowers aren't doing?
I don't know. So the new team would be Debo, Neighbors, and Worthy, and you'd be starting Mixon and Bijan.
That's fine, obviously.
I would just rather keep the guys you have.
Yeah, like where are you trying to prove? You're obviously worried about Olave going down.
So actually, what the change to the lineup? So let's just think of it this way, John. Which lineup do you like better? Mixon and Bijan are the starting running backs. The wide receivers would be Smith and Flowers for now. Olave, Smith, and Flowers. The new lineup would be
Debo, Neighbors.
Debo and Neighbors and Olave. I actually think that I do like that if you can pull it all off and not have anybody to back out.
I don't know. It's trading a lot. And again,
but it's a basically he's
this is just a trade to get Neighbors, right? That's just what it is. You're just trading to get Neighbors. Can you make a more direct trade to get Neighbors?
I think a big part of it is that it's the only way to trade one of the tight ends is to do it in this kind of package deal.
I think you're overpaying for Debo and JT, giving away Smith, Flowers, and Otten.
Yeah, I just stick with what you got. Honestly, dude, Ferg might look like trash with Cooper Rush, and he might look like double trash with Trey Lance.
That's what I'm saying.
So you might just want to keep Otten,
or try to flip, make them take Ferguson instead, right?
Yeah.
Like
best ball call, dude. What's happening? Love the we need to get underdog everywhere. Underdog, unlike underdog is like, especially the best ball drafts, it's harmless. It's harmless fun. So States, come on, let's get it going. And if you want to draft with us, use this promo code right here. Click this QR link and use promo code SCARY. Get 50% off the rest of the season. Get into the Discord. And that's how we get everybody in these is we reach out to the family members in the Discord and we say, hey, who wants in this week? It's not everybody gets in every single week, but I'm actually very fair about how we do it. I always say, hey, this is what I do. On Monday morning, I say, hey, who wants to draft with us this week? If you've never drafted with us, tell me and you'll guarantee a spot. And I get those people in, and then we fill it with like Icy Through and Obi-Wan and everybody that drafts every single time with us. So it's pretty reasonable, and we'll get you guys in there. You can draft with me, John, Howard Bender. We also bring on guests on Wednesday, so we have those people in the draft too, like other analysts from around the industry. It's a lot of fun. I have Jacobs and Walker out. Need to plug in Javonte. Still need one more out of Spears and Khalil Herbert.
What's Spears' current status? Because he's missed the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, the assumption is he's going to play. You can't start Khalil Herbert. He just showed he's going to have a package of plays, but he just showed up. I would start Spears.
Yeah, I think Spears is probably your way to go.
Pick two for Superflex, Johnny. Darnold, Herbert, or May?
Darnold and Herbert. I'm not going to go May on the road versus the Bears. That's a tough spot.
Yep. Darnold is like a smash.
Yeah, I don't know why people are like not in on Sam Darnold this week with
he's good. I have Darnold ranked like
against the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's like the best.
I have him ranked like QB7, John.
Yeah.
Maybe 6. I gotta think back. No, I have him 7 because my top 5 are Jalen Hurts. No, my top 5 are Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and then Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I mean Jacksonville actually has a decent run defense, so like they'll just be forced to throw on them all game, most likely.
For sure. We did this one already. Oh wait,
yeah.
Or Jordan Mason. Yeah, use Jordan Mason. I bet he's still gonna have a role.
I mean, we don't even know if McCaffrey's gonna play this week or not.
That's what I'm saying.
He's just out there practicing right now.
Do it. Deep league, half PPR, pick 2. We got Demario Douglas, ETN, Irving, Mike Williams, Noah Brown, Thielen. I like Noah Brown.
I would probably go. It's a bad spot. Well, wait, Irving this week, or is this moving forward?
It's just looks like it's just this week, just with this week.
Well, Irving already played, didn't? No, that was Monday.
Monday. Yeah.
What do they have? Who does
he's got San Francisco.
Yeah, it's not really great.
I would start Demario Douglas and Noah Brown.
Yeah. Douglas versus the Bears isn't great either, but it's probably true.
Whatever. He'll either get 3 targets or 9, right?
I think Thielen will be active this week. Honestly, Thielen's kind of interesting. You can wait this out. Find out if Adam Thielen's going to play or not.
Yeah, find out if he's going to play, and then maybe roll those dice. But Demario, I think when healthy, he's very much involved. He got sick against the Jaguars. He probably would have had multiple. He probably would have 5 games now. He's got 4 games with 9 targets, and he definitely was going to get a ton of targets in that Jaguars game. Go back and watch. He left in the first quarter. He already had.
I know. Yeah.
So, very much involved, but he's also.
I think it's just a really tough spot on the road versus the Bears.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Khalil Herbert or Warren over Bigsby, Mostert, or Coker. I like Warren. I would definitely start Warren.
Warren for sure.
I would start Bigsby, Mostert, and Warren. Coker couldn't earn snaps over David Moore last week. Okay, I like Coker; it's fun, but I gotta see him play more.
Yeah.
You know what I
Play
mean?
Warren, Bigsby, and Mostert.
Right? They don't run enough 3 wide receiver sets for Coker to be out there enough.
And if Thielen comes back, he's gonna play over him.
If Thielen comes back, then it's Thielen and Leggett, and David Moore doesn't even have a job.
Right.
Need help. Got offered CD and Bowers for my Kamara. I mean, it's a fair price.
My wide receivers are Brown, Neighbors, and Puka tight end. So you got offered CD and Bowers for Kamara.
Well, you don't need
wait. What's your running backs look like? You don't need CD Lamb.
He doesn't.
You don't need a tight end.
He doesn't need a tight end. Yeah, you don't need to do that. Just keep Kamara.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, you're good with tight end. With just starting Njoku.
You have Njoku and Hawkinson. You're
gonna be fine. You don't need 3 tight ends. I
have
3 QBs.
Oh, this is the question earlier. Lost Evans and Godwin. Is unsure, so I picked up Stafford. Can't trade anyone because my roster is full. Well, you can open spots by trading somebody.
You've traded 2 for 1.
I think I still go Stroud. Nico Collins and Tank Dell are a better spot there.
Yeah. I hate those. I think it might be Fantrax. One of them won't let you offer trades if your roster is full. It's like I'm trading because my roster is full.
Sure.
So stupid. Continuation RBs, Kyron Mason, Brees.
So that's a Kamara, I think.
I mean, that team is so good, dude. That'd be like
you don't need you, but the thing is, like, he's not improving. Like, sure, Bauer.
Your team's actually
like
your
Njoku is really
your
good.
lineup's actually potentially. Yeah, I mean, like your only margin. You're making your lineup a little bit worse, I think, honestly. Like, just start Kamara and Kyron
Williams every week.
That'd be great.
And then your wide receivers. So, like, AJ Brown's not going to play for a little bit, but you have Neighbors and Nakua. Nakua just got ejected. That's the only problem for him. And CeeDee Lamb is hurt. So, like, again, I'm thinking about flip. Hold on, wait, hold on. Wait, and I'm super flex. I'm thinking about flipping for Lamar.
Oh, he's trying to he's trying to get CeeDee Lamb and then flip and then trade CeeDee Lamb for Lamar.
Yeah, give us more.
Would you trade Kamara for Lamar straight up in Superflex, John?
Yes.
So there you go. If you can get that all done, like set in stone, locked in, nobody can back out. Then
he's trading Kamara for Lamb and Bauer, so he doesn't have Kamara.
And then he's flipping
something for Lamar.
No, he has Kamara. I got offered CD and Bowers for Kamara. Do it. So he's trying to get Lamar at the end. So if you can get that all set in stone with everybody and trade Kamara for CD Lamb and Bowers and immediately trade CD and Bowers for Lamar, then do it. Because if that's the situation, then I would do that because Lamar.
Lamar is the best quarterback in fantasy.
It's literally the best asset possible for that format.
Yeah.
So if you can do that, then do that. But make sure it's all in stone because you don't want to get caught in the middle. Right. Did we hit this one? Saquon and Henry. Hall would go into my flex. My wide receivers. Oh, that was that other trade.
Add DJ to DK.
Post that. If you got a complicated trade, please post that in the Discord because then you can screenshot your roster and I can actually look at it. I'm going to be in there after this. My schedule's been crazy with Howard out, but I'm jumping in. If you screenshot and put it in there, we can hit it. Trade Amon-Ra St. Brown and Brian Robinson for Jefferson.
I have Henry, Connor, Brown. I mean, you definitely don't need Brian Robinson, so I would take Jefferson over Amon-Ra.
Yes, do that. Always take at least 1 second to make sure you're not making the other team way better than they would have been. Just always take 1 second to be like, I'm making my team better, but am I creating a monster? So just make sure you're not doing that. But sure. I would do that. I have Devonta Smith.
This is another Rogo's part of another trade
from the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Post that in the Discord. Trade away Connor for Garrett Wilson.
Again, Funkadelic would need to know what your running backs move is. I would do that straight up if you had 2 quality running backs to move into your lineup. Garrett Wilson's been an absolute monster.
James Conner has the best schedule of any running back down the stretch.
I know. I saw your tweet. But it all depends on what his wide receivers look like, right? Oh, there you go. Mixon and Brees still. So you're trading and you're adding Marvin Harrison, Moore, Addison, Hopkins. Yeah, I would rather have Garrett Wilson given that state of wide receiver.
Yeah, I would do it. Just obviously you're going to need another running back, but I imagine your bench has running backs. Start 1 quarterback. Here we go. And it's the Twitch gang. What's up, Epic Tames from Twitch? Thank you guys popping in on Twitch. If you're on Twitch, that's cool. But if you come over to YouTube, hit like and subscribe. that helps us out. I mean, we like everybody. We like everybody watching wherever you're watching, whether you're watching on Twitter. We'll sub everybody on Twitter. But if you come over to the YouTube, hit like, subscribe. That actually does a little something for us, which helps us out. And we're trying to help you guys out. So Twitch glasses for the Twitch gang. Start 1 QB, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels. That's a tough question, but
I think I'm going to go Allen versus the Colts.
I have Josh Allen ranked as QB1 this week.
Yep.
Will Juju be relevant with D-Hop there?
Juju has to get on the field to be relevant.
Right.
He's still not practicing, so
he'll be operating out of the slot,
yeah.
but he's not really a big wide receiver screen guy. So
I mean, listen, he was good for the one game he was healthy, and then his hamstring fell apart. So
there you go. Start 2 running backs, and then they traded for another wide receiver, which is a pretty big indictment. Start 2 running backs: Mixon, Kamara, Dobbins. Just start Mixon.
You just stop at the first 2 running backs.
You have to start those guys no matter what. I think I have those guys ranked 1. If it's PPR, I have those guys ranked 1 and 4.
Yeah.
Start 2 wide receivers: AJ Brown, Hill, Debo. If Evans and Tillman don't play, I think I start those first 3 guys regardless.
Well, AJ Brown's not playing, so
I would start Hill and Debo.
Yeah.
AJ Brown is out.
It's not looking likely that he's going to play.
Bro, I have so much AJ Brown.
I'll get you an update right now, but I'm pretty sure that what I saw was that he was not likely to see
I have
that.
So much AJ Brown.
Yeah, currently considered day-to-day. The test came back clean. Previously reported that he wasn't looking for an extended absence. We'll wait to see how he feels going into week 10.
And you can't. It's not going to start Jahan Dotson or anything either.
Right.
Good God. All right. Need 1 flex from those RBs and the wide receivers. So going
back up to me here.
Yeah, it's back up. So the flex options are Dobbins.
Yeah.
It's just the running backs because AJ Brown and Evans are probably not going to play.
Yeah. What's the Tillman?
Well, Tillman's on
bye, right?
Tillman's on bye.
Bye. Okay.
Probably just
Robinson good to go this week because he didn't play last week, obviously.
I would just start J.K. Dobbins because I'm not Chase Brown against the Ravens.
The thing with Chase Brown is he's going to have a ton of volume and he can catch football because we know they're not. I don't know.
The Ravens they are allowing a lot of receptions to running backs.
Chargers get the Titans defense, pretty tough run defense there. Steelers for Ryan Robinson. Ryan Robinson could do some damage if they get in the red zone. I think Chase Brown's the play. I think Chase Brown's going to be in for another 80% share here.
Mixon, Kamara, Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Full PPR, Brian Robinson or Breece Hall.
Breece.
Yeah. Cornelius, it's Breece.
Full PPR, easy.
Start 2 RBs and a flex. CMC if he goes. David Montgomery, Chase Brown, or Pickens. So you got to bench one of those players.
Well, yeah, you'd obviously play. The problem is if you play Brown, you're already cutting yourself out of one of those spots.
That's Thursday.
Yeah, I know. Play Pickens versus the Commanders. I like that. And then you wait on CMC and play Montgomery, I guess, if he doesn't go.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. So you're going to start.
It's a 1 p.m. 49ers, so you'll know before Montgomery plays.
Yeah, so start Chase Brown and Pickens, and then if CMC is a full go, just start him over Monty. Yep. Good call.
Yep.
You got to start Chase Brown because then you're now if you don't.
If not, then you're screwed. Right. If CMC doesn't play.
Okay. Sent a trade 7-2.
Firestone.
That was the other one. Yeah.
Strong playoff. He sent
Hopkins just for real rest of the season. Yeah. I mean, he's awesome. And he's playing with the best quarterback in
You have a really good wide receiver playing with the best quarterback in football for the most part. Yep.
That sounds pretty good.
Yep.
That sounds pretty good. Should I trade Tyreek for Nico and Sutton? John doesn't trade for injured wide receivers, but things are looking good for Nico.
Nico might be back. I would consider that deal, yes.
Yeah. If they both go directly into your lineup, do it. The craziest thing I see a lot of times, though, is people will do a trade like that, and then Sutton's on the bench. It's like all you did was make
your trade Nico for Tyreek.
Yeah, you made your lineup worse. So do it if you're – let us know who goes to the bench. That's the key thing. Because if you got somebody in the lineup already that's equivalent to Sutton, don't do it.
It's not a great schedule for Denver, but
it's a terrible schedule for Miami, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah, that's fine. It's just for Denver, your playoff weeks are on the road versus the Chargers and the Bengals. At the Bengals probably could be okay for championship week.
Colts too, though.
Colts week 15, yeah, or 14, or whatever it is, 15.
Let us know who goes to the bench. Rest of the season, Jacoby Myers versus Shakir.
Go on, Jacoby.
The old Spider-Man pointing me, but I think it's Jacoby. Jacoby's playing a huge snap share. Start CD or Garrett Wilson this week. CD's not in play, dude.
Yeah, I don't think CD plays, but even if he did play, I'd play Garrett Wilson over
Garrett Wilson. Yeah, drop Aubrey for Cyber rest of the season. Absolutely, dude. No, you can't.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of
the kicker is so tied to the success of the offense that you can't just sit here and be like, "Oh, Aubrey's so accurate." Whatever.
They could sit him out there for a whole bunch of 60-yard field goals.
They might. Yeah, they
right?
might. We haven't really had that since Janikowski.
Yeah.
Right. Because like Tucker is that kind of guy, but the Ravens have always been good.
Yeah.
Like there's only ever been Janikowski was the only ever like big leg bad team kicker you could start. Like that's not even a real thing anymore. Remember they wheeled him out for a 76-yarder, John?
Yeah, they don't care.
That was crazy. Wasn't even close, dude. All right, last one here, then we're jumping. Start Tua or Stafford? Playing head to head.
Give me Tua this week.
I'm going Tua as well. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for popping in. Thank you guys for hitting the like, for hitting the subscribe. It really does mean a lot to us. It helps us out with the channel, helps us do more of this kind of stuff and help you guys out, man. So help us help you. Reminder that if you do want to get in and get all the stuff behind the paywall, I do a bunch of crazy stuff. John does a bunch of crazy stuff for every sport. You can hit this QR code here or go to fantasyalarm.com/scary. That gives you 50% off for the rest of the season. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. Johnny, you got anything else to shout out to the world before we jump off here?
If you like NBA DFS, I'll be on the NBA DFS show 5 to 6 today. Big 10-game NBA slate.
Excellent. Check that out. And then right after that, make sure you tune into SiriusXM channel 87. Howard Bender is back along with Jimbo.